Let's now discuss one of the most important things of coaching, which is how we actually create and break habits that can be beneficial or also detrimental to our client success. So, habit is really important. We are what we repeatedly do. So, the more that we can understand how to create and maintain good habits and also break and replace old habits, the better off we're going to be. So, there's 4 key steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. So, we're going to go over why habits are good and then exactly how to do it. So, the first one, autopilot. The more we have things on autopilot, and particularly good behaviors on autopilot, the better off we're going to be. Let's use an example. When most people wake up in the day, what do? They check their phone, they start scrolling through social media, looking for notifications and stuff like that. That is a habit, and that habit isn't necessarily the best one for us to achieve the outcomes that we want. So if we can break that habit, we can A, achieve better outcomes than what we want, but B, we do that without even thinking about it. It's very instinctual that we go to do it. If we could change our exercise habits, our nutrition habits, and our lifestyle habits into that same type of efficiency, imagine how much easier it would be to get results. And the next one with goals often not enough, because goals are basically a decision made by short-term willpower and cognitive stuff. Habits are something that we do subconsciously, so we can do it for a lot longer. So one thing we also need to be aware of is when someone achieves a goal, we need to make sure that they don't revert to old patterns. And that's where the formation of habits is a real winner. So let's go through the 4 step of the habit loop. There's the cue, craving, the response, and the reward. So the cue is a trigger, the signal that starts a habit. Seeing workout clothes out the night before, your alarm going off on your phone, opening up the fridge, or going to the fridge when you get home, any of that kind of stuff. So the best way to set positive habits is create environmental cues that prompt positive behaviors. Setting out gym clothes the night before is like one of the ones that so many people talk about. For each individual habit that you want your client to do, there are cues that you can have to do that. Have a glass of water waiting early in the morning that you put out the night before. There's hundreds and hundreds of possible cues that you can have here. Now, the craving is the desire. So the physical or emotional craving driving the habit. Either wanting satisfaction or feeling full, whatever it is. So a lot of the time when someone has a craving for junk food, what's the desire behind that? Is it to actually deal with hunger or to deal with stress? And a lot of the time, that's something that we talk about. So if someone says they're craving something, you want to look at, well, what is that craving feeling? Because that craving is also part of a habit. So the cue could be stress. They get into an argument, or they have to deal with their boss, or they have to deal with a deadline. That's exactly what happens from that there. Then after that, we have the response, which is the action. Okay? The behavior action taken in response to the craving. I'm craving something, so I'm going to eat some chocolate. Pretty easy stuff. Make sure the action is easy to implement. The less resistance, the more likely the habit will stick. It's like having food that is healthy in the fridge in the cupboard is one of the best ways of that. Having prepared food is one of the best ways to make sure that you eat protein at that point. So there's lots of different ways that you can do that. And the reward satisfaction is the outcome that reinforces the habit. So the reward should reinforce the desired habit over time, pardon me. So over time, it will become intrinsic, like the reward of doing a good workout. After a while, people start working out because they wake up, let's assume they train in the morning. Cue is they wake up nice and early. Cool. Craving, I need to move, I need to go train. I want to feel good. Response, they go to the gym, they work out. Reward, they feel good because they're filling up their self-worth with the idea of who they want to be by doing that. So this is basically the habit loop that works across the board, and I highly recommend you read the book by James Clear, Atomic Habits, to get a really good understanding of this. So how do we apply it in habits? We look at cues, we look at cravings, we look at responses, we look at rewards. So do we remove or modify environmental triggers? Is it a craving? Do we help clients rethink the emotional satisfaction they get? Do we change the response, make the undesired response harder to do, or make the desired response easier to do? And then make sure the reward is actually useful. Okay? So if you make 30 workouts in a month, you get a new pair of shoes, something like that. The reward doesn't always have to be short-term and immediate. I actually would prefer for most people to put their rewards to a little bit more longer term so we can build up the skill of delayed gratification. So building good habits, we make desired behavior visible. We associate the habit with a positive outcome. We make sure the response is easy to achieve, and we reinforce that as well. So we do the exact same thing, okay? It's the exact same thing, just taken from a slightly different point of view and shifting towards that. So key principles, we need to involve the client in decision-making. help them design habits that are in alignment with their lifestyle and their preferences. And a lot of coaches don't do that. We dictate what the client needs. This is why we use specific impact change continue as one of our key coaching tools to do that, because if we can use that, what we'll be able to do is get the client to be involved in it, and we can guide it to some extent, but the client ultimately makes the decision. From there, we break habits into small wins and celebrate small victories, and then sustainability. Avoid drastic, unsustainable changes. These are realistic and focus on long-term success. This is how you help clients get better results. So what I want you to do when using this is use it when you're looking at clients' food journals, schedules, and all those tools that they use to track their life and how they're organized. If you do this, you'll find that this tool and this 4-step process is going to make it really easy to help your clients form better habits.